Okay. Okay, Snooty. 1 minute late. Hello. I am hoping you can hear me this time. And also, I am trying to get the iPad that I've borrowed from my mom set up over on this side so that I can actually see your comments, hopefully, while I code, because I really do want people to chime in. And I got some great feedback in the Snooty Discord that I was asking people to chime in and then I didn't see their comments. So I'm going to try to actually see the comments as well this time. So I'm just going to spend some time over here on the iPad that I borrowed from my next door neighbor and mother so that I can see your comments better. Let's see. Yes, this seems to be working. And then I need to share my screen with you so you can see what I'm coding as well. And if anybody follows me on Twitter, you know I had a few glasses of wine yesterday all by myself at the local cafe / bar. So I'm a little slow. Things are going a little slow for me today, but I hope I can, manage to make this work, because I did make a demo while drinking wine at the local place yesterday. And Snooty is, let me see, I can put it up there. How's your day so far? So I kind of answered that. It's been a little slow, but I am back from delivering the kid to kindergarten. I've had a little chat with Ulla, and now hopefully we'll get some coding done. And hello. Yes, very fancy. There was only 2 glasses of wine, but I haven't had that much lately, so little. So now I'm going to try to share my screen so we can actually see what we're coding today. And then I'll just have to make sure everything else is closed because I'm sharing my whole screen. So let's see. Yep, closing it down, closing it down. Lots of stuff open that you guys do not need to see. So trying not to close down. There we go. Yeah, the Flying Dove says just blame Friday. Okay, I'm blaming Friday. And hello, Eden. And hello to the Flying Dove. Okay, so I'll share the screen then, and we'll get cracking. The whole screen. And we have a very beautiful Inception kind of thing going on now. So I'm going to drag this out, close that down, and hopefully you are seeing my screen now. So this is not where we're normally coding, because we usually code here in VS Code locally on my computer. But what I did yesterday, and what I'm trying to do more of these days, is to fire up Code Sandbox when I just want to try something out, because it's easier to try it out with kind of all of that other logic that you have going on in your app or whatever you're making. And I've been using them for years, actually, but now I realized yesterday that it was really snappy. I just went to Code Sandbox, and then I just chose this, React by Code Sandbox. They also have a Gatsby starter, but since I wasn't needing to make anything for Gatsby, I just chose the React thing. So yes, good one, Snooty. Introductions are in order. So today we are trying to make, and I think I will make it because I managed to make a demo yesterday. We're making infinite scrolling for POW, which is the indie app I'm making. And it's a privacy first menstrual cycle journal. And the design that I've landed on, so let's show you this. We can log in. I'll fire up our dev. So let's just, oh my God, how slow am I today? Let's see where we're at. Yarn dev. I ended up writing yarn dev so many times, not yarn develop, that I just added it because I can't, make it easy on yourself. I know that the terminal font is a little small. You'll just have to live with that because I'm only coding, on my little laptop. So, but we can go back to seeing how it did work in the demo. So what I want to make is that you arrive at the today's date, but then you can scroll back and add journal entries for your past dates. And then you're supposed to be able to scroll forward to see your predictions in the future. So that's what I've been wanting. And somehow it's hard to, oh, sorry. Now I'm looking at this chat, which is I'm supposed to. Yes, I think there is a big delay. So I've gotten a question on what color theme is that? And are we thinking about this one? I think it is the one from, what do I do? Cobalt 2 by, I think that's the one by Wes Boss. As you go to wesboss.com/uses, I think you will see a link to that there. And then Snooty is saying it's hard to tell without the chat on the screen. It is. And I'm just using StreamYard for streaming. And I don't think I can get these to pop up on screen like you can in Twitch, for instance. So I might have to move over, but right now this is just so much easier setup for me. And the Flying Dev is saying that it's almost 20 to 30 seconds delay. So I will keep that in mind. So I'll ask a question maybe a little bit before I actually need the answer, and then try to keep an eye on the chat. And I also remembered that I forgot to put this on here so anyone can see what we are making. And it seems like lots of people are coming from Snooty's Discord, so yay. I have now gotten this to run. So again, we are trying to make infinite scrolling. So this is our app. And right now I'm just faking it. So it has it's got 1.5 cycle forward and 1.5 cycle going backwards. And as you can see, we're scrolling backwards. We can add notes for past dates. And then if we scroll forward, we can see our predictions. And this is just a fake account, but here on day 8, it's predicting that we'll be happy, content, crappy, and exhausted. All of the feelings. The closest. So there's some talk in the chat about if people are doing web dev, and Eden is saying the closest is Node.js. And then she's also saying that Twitch has a less delay than YouTube. So that's good to know. Yeah, so this is what we're trying to make. I could probably just fake it more and just say like 5 years back and 5 years forward or something like that. But what happens then is that there's so many DOM nodes being rendered that everything slows down. And that is why we want sort of a virtualized list where we only see part of the list. And I thought that I had to kind of like swap in dates in the background, or add dates backwards and forwards. But I found the React Virtuoso, and it can do 100,000 items because it only shows the one visible. So I don't really have to narrow down kind of my date range, but I can let this React Virtuoso just narrow down what is actually rendered on screen. So I have decided to for my demo here, I've just decided that we're doing 30 years. So I don't think anybody's going to come to this app at this moment and hope to log anything further back than 50 years. And I don't think they want to do any prediction going forward more than 15 years. And it's been working really well in the demo. So as you can see, the little scrolling thingy is very small, and you can scroll a lot backwards and you can scroll a lot forwards. So what we're doing today is that we're taking this demo, and I think if you want to have a look at the demo, I'm going to try and just going to go over here so we don't get the inception thing going. We are going to, I can add that in the chat. There. And the flying dev is saying that I have opinions about streaming, and I will let you know on Eva's Discord. So I am in 2 Discords now. Thank you for joining me from those Discords. And I would love input. The thing is, though, I have very little time. So that's why I ended up with this setup instead of trying to go down the Twitch OBS rabbit hole. But in the future, I will spend more time doing this and setting it up. So I would be very interested in feedback on the Discord or anywhere. And Eden is not very interested in the menstrual app dev. She's just here for fun. Well, hopefully we'll have some fun. We'll see. Okay, I'll add the screen back in. Let's see. Okay. So over to our timeline, I want to add this into the timeline. We can go through the demo a little bit. So it's fairly easy. It was fairly easy for me with Virtuoso when I just spent the time. I've had a super hang up on this infinite scrolling thing. I just had decided that I was not going to be able to do it, and nothing out there would solve my problem. But with some wine and a little bit of time, I managed to make it work. So what we want to give it, Virtuoso takes the total count, and then what I really like is that you can say which is the one you want on top, and I want it to be today to be on top so that you're landing on the day like we do here. And then how much do you want to overscan? I just tested a little bit, and it seems that 200 was a good, felt good when I was scrolling. And then we'll have to tell it how to render the item for the index that it gives us. So I have a get entry here that right now is just faking entries with some lorem ipsum, as you can see here, with different sizes, which was important for me. Because a lot of these frameworks for infinite scrolling, you have to have a set height. But I wanted to be able to, write as long as or short entry as people want to, as people would like, and still be able to do that sort of scrolling. So let's have some let's have some wine. Let's have some water. And the flying dev is saying wine is always a solution, and I do kind of agree, but not this early in the day. Okay. So let's get back to let's go back to the coding. Okay, so what I need then is I need this Virtuoso part. So I'm just gonna, copy that. Ooh. Or not. Oh my God, my brain is not working properly today. And let's just copy this as well. So what I'm doing here is that I'm making a range, which I won't need anymore. I need it to be index-based instead. So we'll move this out. But this I need. Oh, sorry. And of course, I need to add the package. That's really nice with Code Sandbox. If anyone of you, since there's so many people who are not really web devs in the chat, with Code Sandbox, it's really easy to get set up with your environment. So you just kind of add dependencies as you go along down here. So I really recommend that if you want to get into web dev, because it can be a pain with all the node packages. And also some coffee. And yes, it's true. With Eva's Discord, yeah, I'm doing the React study group. We are going through Sarah, I can't remember her name's opinionated guide to React, and it's really good so far. Okay, let's go back here. And this is the item we want. This will probably not run right now. So we need to get the date for our index. And I thought I was very clever here. So let's code these things. So just general dev advice. I like to name my constant so I know what this actually is, this number. And then we want today to be in the middle of those 30 years. And then we need to create that. We don't need this anymore. Oh no, my iPad went out of battery. I can't see a chat. Let's see. If I open it up here on YouTube, I might be able to see at least the YouTube chat. Yes, I can. Yeah, that Ale is saying that lorem ipsum package is nice. It really was. I just Googled it, went on the NPM registry, and I found it because I thought maybe I'll make one, but of course somebody had made it, so that's nice. And I think Eden was from the Snooty. Oh, now we're getting feedback. Okay. And Eden is saying that she wants to get into web dev. And I think you were on the Snooty Discord, so chat with me anytime if you want want some advice. I've been doing it for 10 years, so I might have some tips to share. Okay, so I'll code them, and I'll try to have a look at the chat that's kind of sideways on my phone right now. Okay, we need to figure out what date it is based on our index, which is happening down here. Date instead of entry. So I'm going to do that const get date. And this function will never change, and this is a functional component, so we want to use callback so that it doesn't, and it shall never change. And then we get the day for the index, or the date for the index. And then I will return that. And I can, my brain is completely fried today, so we might not get this running at all in the actual code base, but we'll see. And then we get that date and we add that date, and we have, let's see if this runs at all. Use callback is never not defined. I have these snippets installed and I never remember which one it is, so I often get the snippet. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Maybe it works. It's running! Wow! It is actually kind of working. And it's got its own little scroll bar, so that's how he solves it, because I got my scroll bar over here, so I have to figure out something. I have to figure out how to solve that at some point. Let's see. Rip chat, it just says, yeah. So that kind of works. The spacing is not working well. But other than that, it seems to be working. And we have today, I kind of want it here, but that's fine for now, because I want people to see that they can scroll backwards. And there's some spacing issues here. I have to figure that out. I don't think I'm going to do that on stream, but let's clean up some stuff then. Hoping everyone else is having fun in the chat, since I'm not. Okay. So this is good. So what we need to do now is that I need to change, well, this still works. I can navigate to back to the timeline, yes, but we don't need this, which is scrolling, which is how I did scrolling into today before. So let's just comment that out and see what happens to our scrolling. Yeah, so we can just delete that. And then I think this has stopped working. So we'll have to make this work. At some point. Okay, let's see if I can get my iPad going again. I miss you guys. I miss the chat. Okay. Let's see if I can get you back on my iPad. Or my mom's iPad. Yes, I got my chat back. And hello to the new people in there. Oh, you've had so much fun in the chat. Hello, hello. Hi. Yes. Okay. people have been talking about TypeScript in there, and I did use TypeScript on a project many years ago, and I really enjoyed it. I come from a traditional background, computer science background, and I really enjoyed using TypeScript. But I've seen a lot of people who come from a more self-taught background, who taught themselves JavaScript. It can feel pretty daunting if everything is TypeScript, because what they're used to, or what they see in most kind of tutorials and documentation, you can do pretty much everything, anything you want to do with JavaScript, which is just both good and bad. But it for beginners, and if you're not used to it, it's really hard to read JavaScript code with TypeScript enabled. But I think for at least POW in the near future, for kind of like the analytics part, the prediction part, the more business logic part, I will definitely add TypeScript. And then for more of the kind of front end design part, I will not add that much TypeScript, because I have a junior developer helping me out, my partner, and I hope to get other junior developers on board as well, and they will then work more on the front end part, and that TypeScript might be in the way for them. So it depends on what kind of background you have, I think, and also what kind of needs you have. And then I can see here somebody is joining in on Periscope on Twitter. So the chat that I'm referring to is mostly on YouTube. So you want to head over to YouTube. I think there should be a link in the tweet where the YouTube video is at. So now we're just mostly chatting, which I like, but we might want to come back to the coding. So we have managed to get an infinite, or not, it's not infinite, it's 15 years back in time and 15 years into the future. So I'd call that infinite enough, kind of. So Eden says, I'm self-taught too. Yeah. But if you're self-taught C#, C++ coder, then you have a totally different way into JavaScript than a lot of the people I've met who are more coming from kind of a design background and learn JavaScript that way. And then all this typing and the strictness around that might be, or I've heard that some people say that's weird for them. Chat is chatting, yay! I'm a talker, so I could chat. But I should also get something done with this app today. So we have this pretty much going on. I think if we click this, yes, you get back to today, which is great. So I'm going to commit this because I'm fairly happy so far. Oh, people outside my window. Lots of things happening outside my window. I'll try to keep my concentration, though. We are in the neighborhood watch people. No, we're not. But we can see straight out into the street, and people can see straight out into our living room. So where was I? I was going to commit this code, so I know where I'm at when this stream is over. And so for my consulting gig, I have to work on PCs with CentOS OS. So my keyboard shortcuts are all off. So if you see me doing weird stuff, that's why. But we'll just keep on cleaning up a little bit before we commit that. Okay. Yes, it took me years and years and years to be less strict. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it made me a little bit more efficient. But I think the key is to know when you have to be strict and thorough, and when you don't have to be strict and thorough, because stuff has to be shipped as well. So now we're good. Now we're going to commit. Add React what was it called again? React Virtuoso. Package. Oh, and we're on master. I mean, I'm a mess today. And we need to make it a branch. Okay, we are on our new branch. Okay, some more water. So what should we then tackle? I think we need to figure out why these are all smushed. I have a feeling it's because I've been using margins, and those are probably not being measured when React Virtuoso is trying to measure how high each row in this table is. So let's go back to the code and see if that is correct. Yes, I'm probably doing it here. So let's say I put a padding bottom instead. What happens? It's not working so well, is it? Yeah, because it's not a child anymore, because it puts in all of these things. So let's do it on the item level instead then. It's so true about the rubber ducking. It really is. I remembered our teaching assistants in university. They actually taped a rubber duck to their door, and with a note that it said, "Explain it to this before you knock," because they had so many incidents where people came in and they just explained their problem, and then they knew the solution themselves, and they kind of got sick of that, even though that was their job. So they put a rubber duck on the door, which I found pretty interesting. Okay, it seems like I was right. So with a little bit of padding, this actually works better. So I'm going to do that then for both the top and the bottom. So if we do like so with material UI, then you have the top and bottom spacing, and then you have the sides, if I remember correctly. And I think we're back to more of that size that I have wanted. So I'm just going to keep on committing on that whip work I'm doing. This looks more like how I'm used to. This is not working now. So I think we need to fix that. So how do we try to, so I have this button, and when I click this button, I want today to scroll back into view. So let's go back here, and I was using the initial index, initial topmost item index. But that would be for the initial rendering of this list. How can I get it to scroll afterwards? Oh, I think it seems scroll seek. Is that it? No, that's the visible range. Okay. Scroll to index. Hello, it was right there. Right there. Yeah, and I guess that's even explaining to a person with no coding knowledge works. Yeah, I think that's why the rubber duck works, or the little doll, or you can have a little, you know, stuffed animal, anything that you can explain it to. I am not really good at doing that out loud, but what I do a lot is that I draw and I write and I think, and in that way I have to get off the computer and draw things and write things, and that's when I kind of get my mind going and can find some solutions to bugs. So I'm loving this chat thing now that I'm actually like following all of the chats. Nice to have you here. Feels a little less lonesome here at the home office. Yeah, and Eden is saying that this website looks really helpful. Yeah, so I started testing this out last night while drinking wine, as we already talked about, and the documentations and the examples were really well written. So I found it easy to get started. And they also have some good scenarios here where it's like, oh, you want load more? Yes. You want to prepend items? I might want to do that later instead of having 15 years before and after. I might just do like a year, and then I will prepend and postpend and add dates when you scroll there instead of having all of that tiny little scroll icon. Anyways, it seemed like they had answers to most of the questions here, and everybody can say thank you to this person who made it. Lovely open source. Yeah, so the Flying Dev answered the other question. This is not client work. I'm not allowed to show the client work because I'm actually working on secret stuff these days. But this is my app that lets you log and keep track of your menstrual cycle without me or anyone else getting hold of your data. And I have 41 customer, I think, leaving October. I'm making a status video after this. So if you're interested, and I make status videos once every month. Okay, let's back to the coding. So we want this, excuse me, we want this button to work now, and then we want to scroll back to today. So I found this. Didn't I find it? Yeah, scroll to index, it's where I'm at. And it looks like we then need to add a ref to the Virtuoso component, and then we can use that to scroll to index later. So we'll do that then. We'll just copy this because that just makes it so much easier. And we'll clean this up a little bit there. Sorry, Inception. I think I have the button here. And we want that to scroll to the today index. So let's call that today index. Use ref is not defined. Blah, blah, blah. Use ref. A line? Did I put a line in there? Okay, I'm going to finish this and then answer some questions or comments. Oh, I don't know what this, what was the align thing that I just copied? Scroll to index. Align start. Oh, center end. Let's do start then. Okay, let's scroll. It works. So I would say that's a whip. So what I think, I'm wondering how I can get the scroll bar to be this scroll bar. Okay, but let's not do that now. Okay. There are some things in the chat. So secret stuff is pretty fun. I visualize a tactical defense network using D3 and React. Yeah. And the pricing on POW is it's $45 a year or $450 a month. And at the current time, there's no trial or anything like that. And the website has no screenshots. And I kind of discourage people to sign up in a way because I want them to really want to try out POW, since POW is, I would say still, it's kind of in a beta. But the people who have signed up, some seem really happy with the product. And a lot of people really want a private or privacy first alternative. So I feel like the, I don't know, the feedback and indications I'm getting is that I'm on the right path with POW. So now I just have to keep on improving it and getting that core functionality really working. So, and also getting that initial experience working. And I thought we would talk a little bit about that today as well, to get my head wrapped around that a little bit, because we have now managed to make an infinite or infinite-ish virtualized scroll, at least, which was the point of today. There are some alignment issues, you know, little extra padding here and there. I don't think I'm going to do that on stream with you because it's going to be fairly boring. So I was going to talk a little bit more about, I had a really good Twitter convo yesterday with a new user, and she said when you log in for the first time, you basically see this. Like, you'll come here, it will say add note, and then you see this very long list of nothing. And then you might get one like this where it says, oh, let's scroll it up a little bit more so you can see. It says your next period, but there's like a lot of wasted space here. So I've been thinking about two solutions, and you might chime in if you have any ideas. One, and I don't know if my algorithm skills are up to it right now. We talked about this last time. I've been a glue developer, I feel, for so long that my kind of data science, algorithmic stuff that I was pretty good at in university has kind of gone from my head. So I need to do some more work on that, maybe take a course or something. Anyways, my idea was that I could squish these dates so that it would say Monday, November 9th, and then just a line until November 18th. So it kind of becomes one line, and then you see your next period, and then you will see one line, and then your next period if you have very little data. So that's one way to go around it. Another idea I had was to do kind of a nice looking illustration here, maybe with some info that it could say like scroll back to add more, add entries from your past so that you will get quicker predictions for the future. And it could even be kind of like if you those kind of onboarding screens where you have an image and then you can like swipe and then you can see more info. But it's a little complicated because sometimes people, their next period might be tomorrow already, and then I would have like this big thing over the illustration. And also I know that some people will track very little. So they will have these things again and again, like long period of times where nothing is logged. So I'm leaning towards squishing them together and making one line. But then I need to get back those algorithmic skills, because here, as we see, we get date. Then I somehow need to figure out if that date is the beginning of one of these periods, and then I'll need to add on all the dates so that this is one index. And it also then has an information about this being one index, and it starts and ends at two different dates. And then I'll have regular entries, and then I'll have another one here with two, and then another one, long one here that I need to squish together. So I think that will be my solution. I just have to figure out how to do that. And what I'm realizing is I'm just used to things being so easy in web dev these days. I know it's wrong to say easy because if you're new to it, it's not easy, but I'm just used to being able to figure out stuff in like an hour or so. So when things take a lot longer, I kind of get discouraged, but I'm realizing I need to just spend like longer stretches of time thinking about these things and thinking about the prediction engine for POW, because I know I have the skills to figure it out. I just need the patience to figure it out. And since there's a lot of game dev people watching, your math skills, I believe, and algorithm skills are top notch. So if anybody wants to help me figure both the prediction engine out and how I can like squish these with indexes, let me know either in Eva's Discord or Snooty's Discord, or just tweet me. My DMs are open. So I don't know if there's a super lag now, because this is the last I got. So there might be a lot of lag. I just wanted to show you that this just popped up, so you know how much of a lag it is. Yeah. I think I'm just going to close the stream early today because I'm pretty happy with having managed to make this infinite scrolling let's stop calling it infinite, virtual scrolling today. And I'm really happy I managed to get that demo up fairly quickly yesterday with the wine. So you might want to check that out. The link is in the comment if you need to make anything close to this. And and to the flying dev on this comment, we are doing onboarding user testing on Friday the 13th. My friend Marit is doing that because she's a much better listener than I am. So if she is interested, then I would love it if she would hold off and then help us sign up for user testing on Friday the 13th. I will share a link to that in the comments at some point when this stream is over, because I have one slot available. Then we'll have 5 user tests that day. Yeah. And it's, I mean, we're on 50 minutes. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead and fork that Code Sandbox. That makes, you know, I think I'm going to do a lot more in Code Sandbox going forward, like taking little lessons from POW and other projects I do and like make a small example in Code Sandbox so that other people can see how I've solved things. I think that could be fun and helpful for other people. So yeah, I don't know how to end this stream. But I'm so happy that you were all here and you made the Friday so much better. And it woke me up a little bit so I can do some more coding on POW, and also woke me up for making the POW status update for October, which where I have to say I've only gotten 2 more customers in October. So I needed some, you know, engineering wins before going and making that video. And thank you. And as I've said, please send me feedback on streaming. Some of you said you had some strong opinions on that, and I would love to have them. And I'll see you on Twitter and in the, let's see, I'm going to try and take this away. I'll see you on Twitter and in the different Discords that I'm now a part of. And have a great weekend, people. Please do. Bye-bye. And some coffee. And then a proper bye-bye. Thank you for hanging with me.